Welcome all to this panel discussion organized by Confederation of Kerala Sahodaya Complexes, an umbrella organization for all. The Sahodaya Complex of Kerala is committed to handhold CBSE schools across Kerala. Confederation, through its academic and training wing, has been instrumental in bringing professionalism to our fraternity. This panel discussion is designed to empower the teachers of CBSE affiliated school who train students for CBSE Term 2 examination of class 10 and 12. As we are aware, CBSE has made some fundamental changes in the question paper pattern, which we will be analyzing in detail in the next 30 minutes. I am Sujata Harimohan, Vice Principal of Excelsior English School, will be acting as the moderator with our eminent panelists, Smita S., Vice Principal of Peace Public School, Kottakkal, Mr. Subhash Pulikal, Vice Principal, Benchmark International School, Manjeri, Shrikala Sivan, Senior Secondary Coordinator, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Kottayam. We welcome you all to this program. Term 2 examination, as you all know, will start by April 26th now. Students have enough time to prepare. But the question that comes to the mind of most of the students are how to prepare for the exam. Students need not worry about the term 1 portions at all. They need to concentrate only on term 2 portions. But the question pattern is totally different from term 1. In term 1, most of the questions were MCQ, but in term 2, we have descriptive type questions too. Pandemic has created learning gaps, and filling this gap is important to know the concepts. If students know the concepts, the journey will be easy. So our panelists here will be discussing on the 3 components of science: chemistry, physics, and biology. Now let us start our discussion on the weightage and the important portions from biology. Smita ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Sujata ma'am. As a biology teacher, I'm so happy this time. Around 50% of questions are from biology, which contributes 18 out of 40. So children are in safe zone. Comparatively, biology is easy for them. There are totally 3 lessons, 13 marks from the lessons, how do organisms reproduce and heredity, and 5 marks from the lesson, our environment. From the lesson, our environment, we can expect open-ended questions. As biology is concerned, we need to concentrate on diagrams. Maybe direct questions, that is draw and label. But nowadays, we can see the diagrams will be given and we need to label as per direction. All diagrams from the lessons, how do organisms reproduce is equally important. When we consider the lesson heredity and evolution, evolution part is completely deleted. But first part is very important. Concept-based questions may ask from this portion. I think teachers should teach laws of inheritance by explaining Mendel's monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross, citing more examples. Concept-based questions may ask from this topic. And teachers need to mention about backrows that is not mentioned in the textbook. One more portion is very important, that is sex determination in human. So all the topics should cover properly. When the teachers are taking variation, teachers need to concentrate on mutation. Now it is very important in this scenario, that is many variants of corona is due to this mutation. So as a biology teachers, we should mention about the topic mutation that is cited in the evolution part, but we need to explain that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Smita ma'am. What you said is perfectly right. The weightage of biology is more when compared to physics and chemistry. Now let us listen to Subhash sir. Sir, what is your view on physics questions?
Thank you, Sujata ma'am. As per the syllabus for the purpose of examination published by CBSE, in term 2, the weightage given to physics is 12 marks. This 12 marks is equally divided between chapter number 12, that is electricity, and chapter number 13, that is magnetic effect of electric current. From the first chapter, electricity, we can expect problems. And from the second chapter, we can expect concept-based questions. So if the concept is clear, students can easily score full marks from the second chapter. And also note that from the second chapter, the last topics, that is generator, the comparison between AC and DC, and domestic electric circuit are deleted. From both the chapters, we can expect diagram-based questions, especially from the second chapter. In second chapter, there are structures of magnetic field produced by current carrying straight conductor, circular loop, and solenoid. You can expect questions based on that. And also there is a very important topic, electric motor. You can also expect questions based on the electric motor, especially the construction of electric motor. And also we have to note one very important thing: in sample paper, 3 out of 4 questions from physics were diagram based.
Okay, Subhash sir, students need to focus more on problems and also diagram based questions. Now let's just listen to Shrikala ma'am for the chemistry questions.
In Term 2, the weightage given to chemistry is 10 out of 40, which is equally distributed between the two chapters, carbon and its compounds, and periodic classification of elements. This time, the advantage to the children is that from the first chapter, carbon and its compounds, most of the topics are deleted. So they can score full marks of that chapter easily by studying only some simple topics. And also because of this, children can concentrate more on the chapter periodic classification of elements, especially on the topic trends in the modern periodic table, which is an important topic from this chapter, and we can expect indirect questions from this topic. By understanding the concepts like valency, atomic size, and metallic and non-metallic properties of the elements, it will be easier to answer the questions from this section. Because of these reasons, I think this time children can score more marks from the section chemistry.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Shrikala ma'am. Carbon and its compounds, the portion content is very less, and they need to concentrate mainly on periodic classification and periodic trends. If you know the concepts well, I'm sure they can apply their knowledge to the higher level questions. Now, more than studying all this, how they are going to put this into paper is really important. So I think we can discuss on the various question pattern or various questions along with the value points. Smita ma'am, if you don't mind, can you give us a question from biology along with the value points, please? Smita ma'am, you are in mute.
Sure, ma'am. For science, no need to write the answers in elaborate way. Only value points are need to give. Let me point out one example question from sample paper. Two pea plants, one with round yellow seeds and another with wrinkled green seeds, produce F1 progeny, have round yellow seed. Genotype is given. When F1 are self-pollinated, which new combinations of characters expected in F2 progeny? Second question, how many seeds with these new combinations of characters will be produced when a total 160 seeds are produced? Third question, explain with reason this concept. This is a 3-mark question. While answering, children are a tendency to show dihybrid groups. That is no need. The value points are like this. The answer for first question, new combinations are round green and wrinkled yellow. That 1 mark. Second is number is 30 round green and 30 wrinkled yellow. That is really application level question. In the textbook, it is given out of 16. And here 160 is asked. So out of 16, it is 3. That is out of 160, it is 30. So that is really application and it is concept-based question. And the third is the reason or justification is the reason independent assortment. The children can write the law and otherwise they have to write it is due to the independent assortment of seed shape and seed color. That is the answer for this question.
Thank you, Smita ma'am, for explaining this. Now let us listen to Subhash sir from the physics portions. Over to you, Subhash sir.
While answering a science paper, the first and most important thing is try not to write the answers elaborately. Make the answer point wise because the evaluation will be based on the value points. And most of the questions will be concept based and there will be sub questions. So make sure that the students are attending all the sub questions. For example, suppose there is a question based on a statement like in the case of a current carrying straight conductor. And suppose the first question is what is the shape of magnetic field lines? The second question is what will happen to the closeness of magnetic field lines if the current through the conductor is increased? And the third question is name and state the law used to find the direction of magnetic field around a straight current carrying conductor. This question can be asked for 4 marks. So here the first question is actually a 1 mark question. So so it is to be answered in 1 word or 1 sentence. That is, we can write the answer as the shape of magnetic field lines are in the form of concentric circles. That's enough. No need to draw the diagram and all. Because it's a 1 mark question. Here again, the second question is also a 1 mark question, and it can be answered as when the current through the conductor is, the field lines will become closer. The third question is actually a 2 mark question. So there will be 2 parts. The first part is naming the law. So just write the name of the law, that is the right hand thumb rule, and then write the statement. So while answering, make sure that we are answering the questions point wise. That's very important.
Okay, thank you, Subhash sir, for explaining it so well. Now over to Shrikala ma'am. Let us listen about chemistry portion and few questions from that session.
Science paper, it is important to stick out the value points only. When they try to elaborate the answers unnecessary, they will not get enough time to complete the exam of time. As an example in chemistry, the first question is, why do you think the noble gases are placed in a separate group? Sub-question, how does the electronic configuration of an atom relate to its position in the periodic table? First question answer, the noble gases are placed in a separate group because they are inert as they have completely filled shells. Children need to write only this point. Second question, for the elements having up to 2 valence electrons, group number is equal to number of valence electrons. And for the elements having more than 2 valence electrons, group number is equal to number of valence electrons plus 10. And the period number is equal to number of shells. Children need to write only these points, no need to elaborate the points.
Yeah, I second your opinion, Shrikala ma'am. Now, this pandemic has created a lot of learning gaps among children. Bridging this learning gap is really important, and it's a real challenge for all of us. We educators need to do something to bridge the gap. As a biology teacher, as a physics teacher, and a chemistry teacher, what is your intake on this? What is your insights? How are you going to, bridge this gap? Or do you really face any challenges in the class? That's my question to Smita ma'am. Yes, Smita ma'am, what is your opinion on this?
A very relevant question, Sujata ma'am. In the case of biology, there is no continuation of grade 9 and 10. So there is no such learning gap here, but diagram. The children are not ready to draw the diagram and give practice. They need to draw diagram and practicing and practicing. That is very important. For diagram, accuracy and clarity is needed. While they are doing dihybrid cross from the lesson heredity, they are always make mistakes. So thorough practice is needed. And while writing answers, they are not supposed to split the answers from one particular question. That are not very important, and these are the challenges also. That is about it.
Thank you, Smita ma'am. And what you said is exactly correct. Even I have the same feeling, in the normal classes, students and teachers, they used to concentrate much on the diagram part. But in online classes, they are not getting a lot of opportunity to explore this diagram part. So students need to put a real effort in doing these diagrams. Now, how about physics, Subhash sir?
In physics, learning gap is not a big concern as there is no continuation from grade 9. The biggest challenge in physics is answering the problems. So if they are doing the problems stepwise, the problems with problem can be solved. So the first step of doing a problem is write down the given quantities in SI unit, then write down the formula. Then the third step is substitute the given values in the formula, and finally write down the answer with proper SI unit. So even though the final answer is wrong, they can score some marks if the steps are correct. So doing the problem stepwise is a very important thing in physics, and also they have to concentrate more on diagrams because most of the questions are diagram based.
Yes, what
That's
you said is, yes, Subhash sir, I was just listening to you. What you said is correct. Even, the derivation part, the problem part, the way they apply, their concepts into the form of steps and the unit they are putting, all these are not, taking place in a proper manner in the online classes. Because nowadays students, they used to just copy things from, Google Classroom, just copy the notes from here and there. So they are not putting a real effort. Before doing the second term examination, I think they need to concentrate more on all these points what we're discussing here. Over to the chemistry portion. Shrikala ma'am, what is your insight on this?
In chemistry, learning gap is a major problem because to answer questions from the chapter periodic classification of elements, students should thorough about the elements in the periodic table, their electronic configuration, valency table, etc. And children are studying all these basic concepts in class 9. And last year also they have attended only online classes. So without understanding these concepts clearly, they cannot answer the questions.
Yes, I totally agree with you because, valency, electronic configuration, atomic number, mass number, all these basics they're actually doing in grade 9. So in this particular chapter, they need proper basics with valency and electronic configuration. Then only they'll be able to cover this topic. Yes. Do we need to discuss anything else related to term 2 examination?
Yes, Sujata ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
There is a major concern from students and teachers. Even though some of the topics are deleted, if there are questions from the deleted topics, what should they do?
Okay. Relevant question, Shrikala ma'am. Actually, when the students get a question from deleted portion, they don't want to worry at all. If they know any concept from that, try to answer that question, put the relevant question number. That is important. And later they can give this message to the respective teachers. And through the CBSE link, they can give feedback about the question paper that day itself. I'm sure CBSE will do the needful. So there is nothing to worry, even if they get questions, from the deleted portion. So I think that was a wonderful panel discussion with all the 3 panelists. Hope the discussion was useful to all the teachers and the students. I personally thank all my panelists for your commitment and dedication for the same. Let me take this opportunity to thank Confederation of Kerala Sahodaya Complexes, especially the office bearers, Palgopal sir and Dinesh sir, each and everyone for giving us a wonderful opportunity. I wish all the very best to each and every student who is going to write term 2 examination. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.